what Congress decides to do legislatively with regards to, don't ask, don't tell, or any other issue for that matter is largely their business. They take up things in the order that they see fit. Obviously, you saw the president yesterday address don't ask, don't tell in his post-election press conference. You also saw today during this cabinet meeting him specifically outline his desire for New START to be dealt with. So I don't know what the Congress will do with regards to that. All I can tell you is sort of what we're in the process of doing. As I think you all know, the Secretary's report is due on his desk by December the 1st. The working group, as I understand it, is very much on track to meet that deadline. So I think in 26 days' time, the Secretary will have the work product that he thinks is so necessary for us to be able to fully understand the full implications of a repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and then what additional measures we need to take in preparation for that eventuality. You know from his discussion of this dating back to last February that he believes it's better to do this smart than stupid, and that this report is very important to us doing this smartly. So our focus right now is getting this report finished, getting it to the Secretary, having him review it, carefully consider it, and then take measures from there.
Can I follow up on that?
Sure.
So right now this department is urging congressional action on START, but not urging congressional action on Don't Ask, Don't Tell. That's kind of what it boils down to, right?
No, we are clearly urging congressional action, echoing the President on START. I think you saw the President speak to Don't Ask, Don't Tell as an issue, as a priority for him yesterday. We have been very, very clear on this. Again, Julian, dating back to last February when the Secretary first and the Chairman first voiced support for the President's position on this, which is they are for a repeal, but they want a study to take place in advance of that repeal to educate us about how to deal with this change. We have not yet completed that study, although we are very close. Let's let that finish. Let's let the Secretary get it and consider it, and then we'll chart a course from there.
So the calculation could change for the second half of the lame duck session, essentially the December section, because at that point the review will be done. So depending on the outcome of that review, this department might have more to say to Congress.
I am not prepared at this time, Julian, to tell you what action we expect to take upon receipt of the report. All I can tell you right now is the working group is coming to a conclusion with its report. They expect to make the December 1st deadline, which was a very ambitious one the Secretary put in place last February for consideration of the full ramifications of repeal across every aspect of how we do business in this department. So once the Secretary gets it, I am sure that it will be a priority item for him to review and consider, and then provide leadership for this department on how to move out based upon what the report tells us. But I don't have any news beyond that for you today on this. Anything else on this? Yeah, go ahead.
Is Secretary Gates planning to urge then the Senate to pass defense authorization this year, or is he not going to engage them?
No, I mean clearly we would like the defense appropriations bill and the defense authorization bill to be passed as soon as possible. We're operating on a continuing resolution that will, I think, expire early next month. We, of course, always prefer, Roxana, to have these things done in regular order, for us to have had an appropriations bill, an authorization bill by this point. We're now operating on an extended CR, but that has a life to it, and we'd much prefer to get an appropriations bill, an authorization bill passed, rather than have to extend the CR again and potentially have to deal with appropriations and authorizations come next year with a new Congress. So yes, there are many things we'd like the Congress to be dealing with, but clearly funding this department, authorizing this department's activities are our priorities as well.
That entails repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell because it's in the Senate bill. So
listen, I don't know how ultimately the Congress is going to consider these bills. That's for them to figure out. That's not, we don't opine on such things. We clearly want our appropriations, we clearly want our authorizations. How they construct those, I'm not going to tell them how to do their business.
Hey, John.
And this also.
Yes, Dan.
Just a quick one, and there's no reason you should have the answer off the top of your head, but have any service members been separated from service since the change in the procedures for implementing Don't Ask, Don't Tell were announced?
The most recent changes, which is elevating this to ultimate approval by the service secretaries in coordination with the General Counsel and the Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness, not to my knowledge.
But you don't know for sure, or, I mean, is there any way to just check on that issue?
Sure. I think it's, not to my knowledge, we will check. I think it's highly unlikely. I think that's something that probably would have come across my desk at some point. Okay?